Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Noah Wickham. I'm brand director here at My Amazon Guy. This is our weekly live Q&A Friday podcast where you can ask any and all questions that you want in the comment section below, and we will answer them in due time. So to get us started today, just a couple of things. Next week, we are going to be having, for the next 2 weeks, a guest on the podcast. One of the other directors, Ben from My Amazon Guy, who is a Spanish speaker. So if there are any Spanish speakers who want to join in, ask some questions, things like that, Ben will be on and we'll be able to answer any and all those questions. But for today, let's get started. We got a bunch of questions in the chat already. So I'm going to get in and get popping. First and foremost, Viper, how's it going? Glad to see you here. Always appreciate seeing you every single week. First question of the day from them is, does Amazon pay the missed fulfillment refund or does the seller? So if you're talking about a missed fulfillment refund, it would be the seller. So unless it's FBA, where in that case, Amazon's going to have some form of reluctance there, but it's going to be primarily the seller in this situation, especially if it's FBM or anything like that. So missed fulfillment refunds of any kind usually come direct from seller. Let's see, Viper again. Viper's kicking off with a lot. How to get a different variation as the main image variation. My child size variation shows over the adult size variation, and I'm worried people wanting adult sizes will look past it. Okay, so the main image is going to be based on what is going to be selling the most. So your main image variation, it typically is going to go in a few ways. So first and foremost, when you are looking at your variation stack, it's always going to go by title first. So what is the title? Since you have adult, I'm guessing as a tag there, A is coming first. So that one is always going to be at the first of your stack. If you want to change it, you have to change the actual naming convention of what your variation is. Secondly, this is going to be largely based on your actual sales volume. So are you selling more adults than child sizes? That's going to be a large proponent to what is showing up first there, Viper. Great question. Nabia. Hello, Noah. I have changed my campaign to bid down only and chopped the budget below suggested. Anything else I can do to bring my ACOS down? Thank you for all the recent help. We had a great launch. Fantastic. Love to hear that. Yeah, so if you're looking to chop your ACOS down, you got to look at what your specific target segmentation is, right? So you want to look and see where are you actually hemorrhaging on that ACOS. So if you're chopping down your bid, that's great. You shouldn't be spending as much as you are. But on top of that, you want to see relevancy. So is the keyword relevant? Is it just an expensive keyword? Because that can happen. That's going to be kind of your biggest areas. And the wasted spend side of things, if you're looking specifically for different ways outside cutting your bid to bring things down, what I would actively look at is to make sure that you have budget set in place. I would also look at Dayparting, the newest feature on Amazon. Well, not newest, been around for about 6 months or so. But look at Dayparting on your campaigns. Make sure that if you have a specific day of the week where your ACOS is spiking, make sure that every other day of the week you set up the Dayparting for it, and that week you bring it way down. So that's going to be a really easy way to cut ACOS. And again, watch out for your keywords. Make sure that the ones that you're actually trying to target are ones that are relevant to your product, and you're not just going to be hemorrhaging money on them. Let's see. Do I need to be VAT registered to sell on Amazon? You do not need to be VAT registered to sell on Amazon US, but if you want to sell on any of the EU marketplaces, so that includes the UK, even though it's not in the EU anymore, but the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, if you want to sell on any of those marketplaces, you need to be VAT registered, yes. Hello, I have a question about the variation. I have 2 colors and 6 sizes, so 12 listings. I want to make different 12 titles for getting more SEO. I don't mention size and color keywords. I want to use the main keywords. Which option is better? One title for 12 listings or the other way around? Thanks. I do it the other way around. So specifically, I like to have as many possible keywords that we can be ranking for as possible. And on top of that, add any auxiliary keywords. So you say you don't want to use size or color in them. It's still good to do that in some capacity, but definitely have 12 different titles. You shouldn't have the same exact title on 12 products. It's not good for ranking, even if it is in a parentage of some kind. You can have close to the same title, but make sure you do have some differentiators in there. Great question. Sam, What is the best way to find amazing opportunities in 2024, considering that the Chinese are destroying everything? It's been extremely hard trying to find a product to launch that needs improvement. Yeah, that's one of the more difficult areas that I think the person that fully solves that question will be very, very, very wealthy. That being said, there's definitely some areas you can always look at. Check out Product Opportunity Explorer. So, one of the cool features, and let me see if I can pull it up here on the Product Opportunity Explorer, is specifically for the B2B Product Opportunity Explorer. I know has it. Let's see if it's not on this one. So, one of the things you can look at is products that are not on Amazon. So I'll share my screen here real quick. So if you check out under B2B, for instance, Product Opportunity Explorer, you can see they have this section where it's products not on Amazon yet. So this is definitely something where you can be looking for ideas around this. Granted, there will be competitors here still, but it's one of those areas where the product's not there yet. So likely, if they're trying to get it, a lot of really name brands, Lit and Lane, right? So definitely a lot of name brands in here and things like that that will make oh, if the top contributor of this type of product or a big name brand is not yet on Amazon, that is likely an area that is, less tapped than other ones would be. So that's going to be somewhere you can check. But the reality being is you just have to kind of do your research, find really niche things if you don't want to do competing products with Chinese sellers. And on top of that, just make sure that you have a good launch strategy and a good product. You can definitely compete in this day and age with Chinese sellers if you have a better product than them. Let's see, Abdullah. Hello, my favorite mentor. Clients want results in weeks from PPC. What should I do in this situation? Every PPC client wants immediate results. It's just the way that it goes at the end of the day, unfortunately. Definitely some things you do. Set very, very clear ideas here. Set milestones ahead of time. Say, hey, it's going to take us X number of time to reach certain metrics. So if that's an ACOS goal or anything like that, starting from the bare basic brass nails and tacks, right? So definitely what I would look at doing there is if you can just make sure you set up with them the milestones. And then from there, when it comes to actually, PPC side, if you know what you're doing and you're able to actually follow through with it, then you're going to have a little bit easier time. If you don't know your PPC, that's going to obviously be why are you having PPC clients, right? So biggest thing, just set objectives. We set monthly milestones here at MAG. So that's how we typically like to do things. Make sure that we have an actionable goal that we're trying to reach, whether it's a 10% growth in sales or whether it's a ACOS. We're trying to get down to, let's say, 25% ACOS. Definitely just form everything you do around that milestone and you should be good. Make sure you're very communicative with the client as well. Not a lot of agency questions these days, which I like those. Let's see here. Joseph, what would be the best way to bring down tacos from 10% to 7% without hurting sales? A very large account. Account is being optimized daily, but now I need to go more aggressive to cut spend. Thanks. All right. So if you're looking to bring down your tacos, for those that don't know, tacos is your total cost of total advertising cost of sales. So it essentially means you're taking all of your sales, dividing it by your ad spend, you get your tacos. Whereas ACOS is just ad sales and ad spend. So when you're looking at tacos specifically, you want to be able to keep all of your organics and grow it necessarily. So the biggest thing here is actually focusing less on the organic and more on the ad side. If you want to keep your organic and more so just have your tacos go down, you need to lower your ACOS overall and how much you're spending on the ad. So we were talking about wasted ad spend just a few minutes ago. A big aspect with wasted ad spend is trying to make your tacos get down in a goal. So you should know and have a general idea of what your overall advertising spend would have to be to keep your tacos at 7%. If you are at 10%, you're already really good. I mean, having 10% tacos is kind of where I like to sit for a median level of both growth, but also ad spend at the same time. So that's really good. I would typically say focus on the wasted spend. You're definitely wasting spend somewhere. Find any advertisements that are spending money and not converting right now and just cut them. That's going to be an immediate way for you, Joseph, to be able to get your tacos down a little bit. But then long term, you have to work on lowering your overall on your top bidding campaigns. So look at if you have one or two keywords that just really aren't converting very well and cut them. That's really what it comes down to, is just finding ways and creative ways at that when you're already this low at tacos, and especially with a really large account, of just kind of cutting out auxiliary ad spend that you don't need. Martin, hello, question. I have an answer. Does dynamic super URL still working? I want to send external traffic, but also rank, maybe canonical URL. If you want to send external traffic, Martin, and rank, I would use your attribution. So super URL, unfortunately, no, does not. The canonical does, sort of, not really. Unfortunately, super URL, they did get rid of it. But for the attribution side of things, just do it as normal in this day and age. You'll still rank somewhat, but you're not going to get that same level of keyword ranking that you used to be able to. There's no real way to fully get around it in this day and age, unfortunately. But now I would just say send the traffic. It's better to be getting that sale and getting those external traffic numbers coming in than it is to necessarily be focused solely on trying to improve the ranking of a keyword. Let's see. Meyer, question. My account funds has been held in an account lever reverse for a few months with no reason. Why it's happening? Any recommendation? Usually, if they're holding money in your account, they give you a very, very, very clear indication as to why. It's very rare for Amazon to just hold funds. I mean, actually, it's almost illegal for them to hold funds and not give you a pretty clear definition as to why. The only reason that it usually happens comes down to you have really, really, really high returns. Your account is suspended or deactivated for some reason, usually breaking a major TOS. If you were doing something like drop shipping, for instance, in this day and age, that's a reason as to why they would hold the funds, and they would definitely reimburse the customers for that. I would just check with them, Amazon support, and make sure that you know the exact reason as to why. But unfortunately, I don't have a ton of experience with getting money out of that situation without fully remedying the reason behind why they are doing it. So unfortunately, can't help you a ton there. Super Syfy. Hey, Noah. Great to see you. How much keywords/product targeting ASINs and ad groups do you guys recommend? Also, do you recommend one child ASIN or multiple child ASINs in campaigns? Depends on what the child ASIN is and what you're targeting primarily for the second part of that question. So if you're targeting, for instance, the same exact product and it's color variation, let's say, and you're just targeting your top keywords, you can definitely have all of the products in that campaign. That's not an issue. As long as one or two of them aren't fully dominating the campaign. If you notice that one or two are getting all of the impressions in the campaign and nothing else is getting anything, then I would break everything out into its own separate campaigns. As far as the first part of your answer, how much keyword/product targeting, 5 to 10 is kind of your baseline. I would not go above 10 in a campaign unless you're doing some form of keyword harvesting. But 5 to 10 is really where you're going to find the sweet money. And then anytime that you see where one or two keywords are fully dominating that campaign, break out all of the other keywords into their own campaign. Keep that campaign with those keywords and then, rinse and repeat. As far as ad groups, one ad group per campaign. That's how I typically do everything. You can use the same ad group, I should say, in multiple campaigns, depending on what the purpose is. But typically speaking, one ad group, one campaign. Okay, our Prime exclusive discount shows suppressed. Ineligible disbursement reserve policy. Disbursement reserve policy must be set to 7 days or more after delivery. How to set that up? So if you're talking about the ineligible disbursement reserve policy, so that's kind of similar to the question the other guy had earlier. For the Prime exclusive discount, let's start there. Suppression. Make sure that your product is actually eligible for advertising. That's one of the ones where I see that sometimes pop up. People just for some reason have ineligible products, and then boom, guess what? You can't do that as well. It's a form of advertising. That being said, make sure that you are not having any pricing errors. Make sure you are not search suppressed on your product as well. And you should be good to go on the Prime exclusive discounts. Make sure your product is also, I can't believe I'm saying this, but make sure it's also FBA. I have seen people try and do Prime exclusive discounts with, non-FBA, and they run into issues like this. It's a common thing. Yes, technically it's for Prime members, but if you don't have FBA in your FBM, Prime exclusive discount can run into some issues. That being said, for the disbursement reserve, policy must be set 7 days or more after delivery. So that one is Amazon specific. You're going to have to ticket to Amazon seller support to get your disbursement policy changed, or your reserve policy, I should say. That one is entirely dependent on them. It's not something you actually have control over. The ineligibility for that 7 days, that's just because you're too new. You can't change it, unfortunately. That's just how Amazon operates. Eventually, as you get more sales, more everything, Amazon will start looking at that. If your returns are low, there's no issues. You shouldn't have an issue with it. Meyer again. I tried a starting bid for new keywords based on the organic conversion rate, but it didn't work out for me. What starting bid would you recommend? That's entirely based on the keyword. Starting bid is keyword dependent entirely. I typically see some people who are, and when I say that, a keyword can be $40 or it can be 40 cents. It is entirely based on the keyword. So your starting bid will depend on that. Largely speaking, it depends on how aggressive I'm being. I know that obviously you're probably talking about the minimum, maximum, and then like the average starting bid, right? I go probably closer to the maximum side than I do the minimum side. It depends on the aggressiveness that you're trying there. If you really want to, just use the default starting bid and check yourself. See what is your cost per click actually coming out to if you're getting it. If you're not getting it, raise your bid. That's pretty simple standard. Let's see, Syfy. Usually people recommend testing a keyword for 10 clicks. Does this apply to all categories and product price ranges? Let's say we have a product of $200. Do we still test keyword for 10 clicks? No, not necessarily. I wouldn't, at the very least, just because, it also depends on how much you're spending per click. Again, we come back to that 40 cent versus $40 keyword situation. You don't want to spend $400 on a keyword with 10 clicks and see that you're not converting whatsoever. It's a good standard and it's a good rule of thumb if you don't know how to actively look for good keywords and do keyword harvesting. So you can definitely go down that route. But what I would typically look for, especially with something that's like $200 there, Syfy, is I would make sure that you are focused on your top keywords first and foremost. And then when you're doing testing of keywords, just make sure, 1, relevancy, 2, you have your negative targeting, and 3, what is the actual cost that you're going to be putting out here? If you get 10 clicks and you don't get any conversion, that usually is a sign to me that you're not actually doing any form of harvesting and it's not a relevant keyword. But for a product that large, it really just comes down to people are going to be doing a lot of window shopping. I would probably expand the number of clicks that you allow for. But if you have a very, 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 very low click-through rate, that can also be a big factor. So the actual conversion rate is going to tell you whether or not you have a relevancy here. The click-through rate is also going to give you that relevancy without having to necessarily spend all of that money. Martin, I'm European and self-employed. I want to send products from China to USA. I'm going to register the brand, but I need something more to import. I don't have enterprise on USA, only on Europe. I need something more import. I'm guessing your question here, Martin, is what do you need to have when you're sending in? Yeah, I would just use Amazon. If you're just getting started, use Amazon Global Logistics and then also work with whatever manufacturer you have in China to have them set up a transportation service from there to Amazon Global. That's going to be probably your easiest way of going about this. If you are working with a manufacturer and they say they don't help with that, that would be extremely big red flag to me. I've never actually worked with a manufacturer that doesn't at least somewhat try and help you when it comes to the logistics side. But definitely go with Amazon Global Logistics if you're a first timer. It's super easy. It's in platform. They set everything up for you. You just got to make sure you have your I's dotted, your T's crossed with your product. So I think that's what you're asking there. If I am getting that wrong, feel free to shoot another question in here. Charlie, what is the best way to change a brand name? Having trouble with brand registry. Yep, this is a very frequent and good topic. So if you're looking to change your brand name, there is a very specific way you should go about it. The best way to go about a brand name change is to get whatever the packaging is for your product and the product in front of you. If you were just going to put it on your desk, let's say I am changing the brand name of my Fiji here. You're going to put the packaging right here, the product right next to it, and you are going to snap a photo with your phone. Once you snap that photo with your phone, you're going to take that photo, go to brand registry, and let them know the ASIN that you are trying to change the brand name on. Attach that photo. Let them know that the packaging and everything is updated to the new brand name and that it needs to be updated on Amazon side as well to reflect. So it's going to be a little complicated, a little convoluted there, but that's going to be usually the best way to get kind of action there. Brand registry support should be able to push everything through for you. Syfy, as this is not PPC specific podcast, what is the pay range of full-time PPC ads expert? I've been working as part-time listing PPC expert. I want to get into full-time role. So internally at MAG, we have a ton of openings all the time for PPC specs. We pay anywhere, if you're an intern, I believe it's around $3, all the way up to 15 to 20, depending on the role. And if you're a manager of some kind in the PPC department. So if you're interested at any point in time, just go to myamazonguy.com/jobs, check it out. We're more than happy to take any and all applications. We have a great process, great internal hiring staff as well. So absolutely go check that out. But yeah, we pay somewhere in that range. Really just depends on what level you're at and where you get placed. Toshko, this is my ASIN. Okay. And I'm getting good CTR on PPC, but customers are not converting. So what will be the reason for that? So let's take a little look. We don't do a lot of ASIN reviews here. So let me pull that one up real quick. Give me just 1 second here. B0B 2X. All right. I think I got that right. I did. So let me share this for everyone so we can look at it together. All right. So you're saying you're getting good click-through rate on your PPC, but customers not converting. What could be the reason? Should do a quick little review. Your title, a little short. I would add a couple more keywords in here just as a general rule of thumb. Typically speaking, you want to have a longer title if you are not at the top. So a lot of people will say, keep your title nice and short. Amazon wants it somewhere around the range of 80. Don't worry about that. You don't have enough. You don't have enough people looking at this yet to where it matters for your title to be longer. So absolutely use the space for recommended keywords. That's going to help on your organic side. Material type, that's decent. All right. Let's see. Fulfill your dream. These are all decent at the very least. I don't like this. I would absolutely get rid of this. This is technically, yes, within Amazon customer service, but get rid of it just from the aspect of you could get dinged for something like that. Anytime you're talking about refund or anything like that, definitely, it's a little iffy, especially if it's on the listing. So I would get rid of that real quick here. And then let's take a look at this. This isn't a bad main image. I would look at adding, if you could, is this yeah, so it's a custom product. I would look at potentially adding some form of sticker here just to kind of make people understand the product a little bit better. Not a huge fan of this. I don't like this image because this is all just, I mean, it's the stickers, I assume, that you put onto this in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I would definitely change this to actual product. This is decent. This text is way too small. Think of it this way. If I'm going to pull this product up on my phone and look at this, that text, I would have to zoom in to read that text. Not a fan of that whatsoever. So Absolutely get rid of a lot of this text. You got to think of it this way. Pictures are for the people. Text is for the robots. So always make it so that this is visible. Assume 60+% of all people on your listing are on their phones. This is going to be super, super small on your phone. I would get this down a lot. This is decent. Again, we have some small text here that I'm not a huge fan of, but this is decent. I would probably add another form of lifestyle photo here somehow. It's all right. It doesn't actually really show a ton here. Others, I'm iffy on it. Your video looks good. Overall, I mean, I would ask this question, Toshko. First and foremost, who are you targeting towards? I can also see you have a ton of competitors here, right? So we have a ton of custom competitors here. What I would look at doing is do a lot more competitor targeting, product page. Go against pretty much any other type of person you can when it comes to the competitor targeting. This is a really, really good. These are all AI. I would get rid of the AI stuff. It's pretty blatantly obvious. We're not huge fans, or at least I'm not, of the AI stuff. If I see AI imagery, I usually think the product itself is also going to be a lower tier and lower quality, just because it doesn't seem realistic. This one, all right. Overall, not bad, but again, you have a bunch of copycats, right? You have essentially a bunch of competition. Focus your PPC strategy right now around product page specific targeting to all of those competitors. And then on top of that, see what the top sellers of your same type of product are doing, and then focus in on those keywords. See what keywords they're ranking for, see where they're at, and focus top of search for those ones. Great question. Love doing ASIN reviews. If you guys ever want me to, more than happy to. Let's see. We got a donation from DDoc. Okay. And DDoc said, I would actually appreciate a small listing review. Yeah. If you want to throw it in, give me your ASIN. Feel free. I'm more than happy to. I love doing ASIN reviews. We don't do a ton of them on this Q&A because it's usually just focused on the Q&A, but I'd love to add more of them in and whatnot. And I know, for instance, next week, just so everyone knows, we're going to have Shane and Ben, who are some other directors here at My Amazon Guy, on here. They love doing listing reviews. It's kind of like their number one thing. And then on top of that, Ben is a Spanish speaker. So if we have any Spanish audience as well, feel free to come in and we can definitely, for the next 2 Fridays, help guys out with that. Let's see, Dave. If my best variation runs out of stock and I have new variations, will they share the same rank and pick up where the best variation left off? So no, not really. So technically speaking, your parentage will have, yes, its own form of ranking, but the new variation is its own product, right? So it can definitely help to have that a part of it in the ranking, but it's still going to have its own rank compared to the best variation. Your best variation is also more than likely dropping in ranking right now because it's out of stock. Going out of stock, as we know, it's kind of the number one criminal offense on Amazon. So if you're having issues right now with it, I would definitely look at making sure you're getting back in stock at the best variation. Then 2, focus very heavily on making sure you can bring up the total parentage ranking with all of the child ASINs. All right, let's see. Baba. What's the best way to remove retail contribution from 1, A+ content, 2, product attributes? We have raised multiple cases with Amazon to remove the retail contribution, but in vain. So if you're talking about the retail contribution, are you referring specifically to like a vendor contribution? Because if that is the case, unfortunately, you got to go through Vendor Central. Retail contributions and just contributions on anything, Amazon has the final say for anything that's ever been Vendor Central. So if you ever have had a product that has been sold by Amazon, they get the final say. Usually they will allow you to make changes here and there, but they can just revert and change all of those changes. So unfortunately, you probably have to go through Vendor Central and then vendor support rather than going through seller support if it's been sold by Amazon. If it's an issue of a hijacker instead, then I would go through brand registry first and foremost rather than seller support. They're not going to be able to help you like brand registry will. So Sucks, but it's, an easy solve if you can get in contact with the right people. Great question. All right, little Fiji. Let's see who is next here. We got Pro Hall back in the house. How can I get rid of a hijacker? Very topical considering we were talking about. The seller has a US address, but the product is shipped from Brazil. Is that allowed? Ooh, yeah, technically speaking, it's allowed. It's not going to be great for the end consumer, but the hijacker themselves, let's talk on that. How do you get rid of a hijacker? There are a couple of different ways that you can specifically start targeting hijackers and trying to get rid of them. One, and the best way you can, go to brand registry. You need to make sure that brand registry understands that you are, in fact, the owner of the brand and you are the top one on this ASIN. You need to list all your ASINs, make sure brand registry keeps a log of it, and make sure you are updating as frequently as possible. It's very, very, very common that people try and take over entire brands. And the biggest thing you need to make sure is brand registry is on your side. Now, if you have a hijacker and you are not brand registered, unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do there. People can take control of generic listings very, very easily with Amazon support. It's not all that difficult to do. What I very much advise anyone to do is if you even have any form of brand, make sure you get a trademark and make sure you actually use brand registry. If you don't, anyone can claim that brand as their own and they can start making any of the changes they want to. So past that as well, open up a case with seller support if you are brand registered. At the same time, you have that brand registry case. Make sure seller support documents everything. Make sure they understand that you are the only contributor to this brand and that no one else is allowed to contribute to it. So unfortunately, Pro Hall, there's not a million different choices here like I wish there could be when it comes to this, but absolutely, absolutely go to brand registry if you are brand registered. Let's see. DDoc, you said on your previous message, I'm not seeing an ASIN. We got a couple of people working on the back end. Maybe they can find the ASIN for me. I'm wondering if it's not coming through to our software DDoc. That might be what it is. If that is the case, you could always tell me what the product is or maybe your brand name at the very least, and I can definitely do an ASIN review. More than happy to. But I'm not seeing it on our end. I would say, Alan, on the back end, if you can, just check the YouTube chat, make sure that it's not coming or that it's not coming through, and then we'll get you an ASIN review real quickly here, DDoc. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Perfect. All right, let's pull this up. We'll do an ASIN review for you. B0. Let's see. KX 8YX. All right. Let's pull this up. Here we go. Let's take a look. So we are doing a dog feeding or dog food mat. Okay, dog food mat. We are in the correct category. Got it. Let's see. Let's look at some images. First and foremost, not bad. I mean, you could probably do a little bit more here. You're not adding a ton of value. I do like how minimalistic you're being here. I understand very quickly that's probably part of the branding is very minimalistic. You need to add some more image or not imagery, more text. So similar to the last ASIN review DDoc that we were doing, the biggest thing here is that you don't have a lot of text going on. So the other person had way too much text and it was way too tiny and you would have to zoom in to see everything. For yours, I think you have good text, but you need more. We see non-toxic ink, protect your fur babies. Not a huge fan of that, but I get it for the branding, hypoallergenic, leak-proof, waterproof, stain-resistant. Yeah, you don't. There's just not a lot going on. I would use this one is also. I'm not a huge fan of this top-down shot. It's not great, and on top of that, it's not full. you can see, for instance, like I can't go past the actual product. Usually you can go past the product, which means that you haven't uploaded a full-sized image here. So I would definitely focus on that. But then on top of that, I'm not a huge fan of this just from the aspect of it's not actually, yeah, this one as well. I don't like the bowls being here unless the bowls are a part of it. Dog food mats, multicolor. Yeah, so the bowls, I'm not a huge fan of this. I do understand the top down now, but the bowls make it very much seem like they're included in this. And this shot specifically is much more about the bowls than it is the actual mat. So I would definitely change that. This is probably a better one. Put some more text here. I would move this up and then put some text. It's good lifestyle image overall. This one's probably a little bit better. Very clearly edited. Even the dog food bowl is pre-edited there. Add a little bit more text here. Yeah, overall, it's not bad. I mean, I understand your branding very, very well right off the bat. Let's take a look at some of your everything else. I don't see your brand name in here. I know Amazon's kind of changing a lot of that. Jelame store. Okay. You have good keywords. You have good targeting. You're understanding that, telling us size. I like that. Yeah, again, if these bowls aren't included in this, I would absolutely try and cut back on how close-up shots you're doing. This entire thing made me think that this was all together. That's why I thought your main image was not good from a top-down at first. But definitely, yeah, you should focus on getting the bowls not being a centerpiece here. Let's see. Easy to clean. You have a lot. This is good. I like all this. Nothing is sticking out to me immediately. I do see a lot of duplication, so maybe you could do a little bit more when it comes to a couple other different things. Let's see. Brand story. I like this. Brand story is good, but again, it looks a lot like you're focusing on the bowls here. And I do get that, but just make sure that it's very clear. Also, this one would probably not be great from the aspect of sizing. Just make sure people understand what the size is, but decent brand story overall. I like it. A plus, maybe just remove the bowl or maybe put it over to the side here. This one, it's very edited here. That's the only thing I really don't like about it. But yeah, again, sizing. Unless it actually is this big, this is going to really confuse people and people are likely going to not like it. But overall, great image here. Beige, decent. You're showing the different kinds and they can roll up. It's not bad. Sizing again, just make sure this is accurate. Let's see. Vinyl floor mats. Okay, multicolor. So I see where you're getting the sizing from. You have a bunch of different vinyl floor mats. Got it. Okay. So sizing, not too big of an issue. Good on having some reviews from customers here. Your ranking 205. Overall, decent listing. You just need to work on your imagery a little bit. It looks like, let's see if you have alt text. You do, but you have the same exact alt text for all of this. Change your alt text. Every single one of these things can have a different alt text on them, and you need to change the alt text on all of them. Alt text is rankable and indexable. Make sure that you are changing your alt text on everything. Yeah, you're using the same exact alt text on pretty much everything. I assume up here. Yeah, same exact thing. So definitely change your alt text up on all of your products. That's going to help you with your ranking a ton. And then from the aspect, again, just make sure you're cutting down on the bowls, add a little bit more information, not a ton, but just a little bit more information, especially on an image like this. You want to use up this dead space right here. There is just a lot of dead space there that you want to make sure you have, a use for. But overall, great listing. All right. ASIN reviews. The issue is that on phone images are showing very small. Yep. So again, you're going to have that issue just from the phone in general with that. Just update, dedock the sizing of everything. Again, so a great example is even the secondary image there. You have a ton of dead space here. I get this is kind of showing, it might show up small. You can expand everything and on the phone, it'll look fine. I mean, you have just so much dead space in a lot of these images that you can be using up. This one isn't bad, I suppose, but these bulls, again, if we take them out of the equation or at least make them not the centerpiece, then you can do a lot more with this image and you'll have a lot less dead space. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Part 1 of 2. From the vendor central, the value from us is like Apple, but Amazon is showing the value mango for the style name attribute. So how to remove this, especially when the variation theme is style name or color variation. Again, Baba, that's Vendor Central. You have to go to Vendor Central and ticket to them specifically. That's not going to, nothing's going to happen if you're ticketing to Seller Central, because Seller Central can't do anything. If it's from the Vendor Central side, they have final say on Vendor Central. You have to go through Vendor Central for it. If you don't have access to Vendor Central, that's a problem in of itself, but it's a very, very common thing I see where people no longer do Vendor Central. And then they switch to Seller Central and they think everything will be fine. But ultimately, Vendor Central has the final say, and so you have to ticket directly to them for that. Let's see. Let me take a little sip of water first. Looks like we have another person coming in for an ASIN review. Let me, before Vasil, I get to you, I'm going to answer a couple of these questions and then we'll do another ASIN review, guys. I wanted to ask how to update the value, which is from us on the style name attribute. Is it cases or spreadsheet upload on vendor? It is cases is first and foremost, but you also have to do a spreadsheet upload. So do the spreadsheet upload. They'll either accept it or not accept it if you have access to vendor. And then you can submit a case as well, just so they understand. National Cancer Screen. Interesting. Our sales seem to have plummeted in the last 2 weeks. We are non-seasonal. Is there something going on at Amazon in regards to ranking and promotion, or is it due to the summer? More than likely, it's due to Prime. So part of it, I can see this definitely happening. I would have to see what your product is to give you a full answer here, but definitely late or mid to late May, early June-ish, you're going to see any form of dip in sales. I think everyone is. We're probably going to see a lot of window shopping, a lot of impressions, but not much sales. Why? Because we have Prime Day coming up. There are a lot of end consumers at the end of the day who really just want to buy when it has a deal. So you're going to see a lot of people that are, or you're going to be getting a lot of impressions. You're probably getting a lot of clicks over the next 4 to 6 weeks here before Prime Day. And then Prime Day will happen and you may get some sales from that. But a big thing to keep in mind with this is that as well, things like brand tailored promotions, you're going to end up getting more of those coming through for brand cart abandoners. People are going to be adding stuff to their cart. They're going to be adding it to the save later. So just keep that in mind. I wouldn't do any brand cart abandoners, at least until after Prime Day, just from the aspect. You're going to get a little bit overblown of a section there. And then again, just make sure that if you are going to be running any discounts right now, make sure it's in line with what you're going to be running for Prime Day. Nobody wants to, come for a discount now, or they're not really going to be purchasing any form of discount now if they think you'll have a better one on Prime Day. So just make sure it's in line there, but expect a little bit of a downturn in sales, not a ton, but a little bit more impressions cross the line and go from there. All right. A couple more. For titles, I like to use phrase keywords, as I believe I would get more percentage of SV, example, dog food feeding mat. There we go. Have 18K search volume. If we use it like food feeding mat for dogs, we would get less percentage of search volume, right? Yeah, so for phrase, it depends on if you're doing an exact match phrase campaign or if you are doing a broad match phrase campaign. So broad phrase is a little bit more in my favor. I like those a little bit more because it does exactly what you're talking about. It allows you to have it be less similar, but still get those different search volumes. So that just depends on the type of phrase campaign that you're running and how you're doing your search key term or your search terms. So that's what I would probably focus on there more than what the actual keyword is. But when it comes to phrase, so I guess the phrase, not the keyword, but hopefully you understand that. And then from there as well, I would set those as different campaigns entirely. to be honest, just because they're so similar in nature, and you're probably going to get a lot more out of the first one just because it's what has more search volume on Amazon. DDoc. Can you do bulk dayparting on campaign level? All of my campaigns are performing bad from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Yeah, you can. It's same thing. So just update the dayparting. I don't know if you can do hourly actually in the bulk file yet, unfortunately. But if you're performing poorly from 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., then yeah, set up dayparting for every other hour, I suppose, technically. And you should be good, but it's probably going to be a little bit of a pain. You'll want to do it on a campaign by campaign basis anyways. All right, we have another ASIN review. I absolutely can do one. If anybody else has any other ASINs, we can definitely do that. Seems like today the vibe is a little bit more ASIN review, a little less questions. Not a ton of people coming in today, so it's totally fine. Let me pull this one up. We will do an ASIN review real quick here. Try not to spend a ton of time on this one. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So, little ASIN review here. First and foremost, looks like cool product. Portable power banks. Universe portable power bank. 3200. You have some good. Ooh, you're 3.7. I am not a fan of listings falling below 4 stars. If you have a listing that is falling below 4 stars, that's going to be a major problem for you for conversion. So unless you can turn this around in the next 30 days or so, I would definitely look at the possibility of maybe creating a new listing. The reason I say that is because when you fall below the 4-star range, you're going to have a lot of issues with people trusting the product. I have definitely turned around products that have had 3.2 stars, such. But if you fall any lower than where you currently are, I would definitely look at the potential of just starting a new listing and trying to revive it. So that's just one thing to keep in mind while we're going through this. Secondly, decent here. I'd worry. I'm surprised you have Apple in here. Usually you can get dinged for this. I would definitely watch out, especially Apple Lightning. You can get an IP claim specifically for just even having that in there. So I would watch out a little bit on that. Let's look at your images. Images are decent. I mean, this is a good image. It shows something. I would probably try and add a sticker or something on the front here. Maybe tell people what each of these are. It's obviously you have USB-C, Lightning, and then micro USB maybe. Yeah, micro USB. Okay. This image, you need to add something to it. I mean, it shows. This is essentially what I'm saying to do with this one, except just it just shows it happening. So there's that. This is good. I like this. You're using up as much space. It's a lifestyle. You're using the product. It's a little bulky, but I get it. Again, this is decent, not bad. A little odd to have this charging thing on an iPhone because this is an Android charging and this is very clearly an iPhone in her hands, but maybe that's just me. I noticed the small stuff when you look through enough ASINs. Not a lot of text, but it's decent text. Let's see. Universal charging. This is a non-zoomable photo. Yeah. So this is a problem. You need to replace this photo. You can't zoom into it. You can replace it. If that doesn't work, ticket seller support on that. Let's see here. Okay, so we have a couple of different charging options on the bottom as well. I would move this one up. This is a selling feature that I would absolutely move up further. I would probably put it on your 4th image, if not maybe your 3rd, because this is a major selling feature of the product. All right, let's look at some text and stuff. This is insane. I don't mean that in necessarily a bad way, but I understand the idea of trying to hit all of those from a keyword perspective, but just adding all of these in to try and index and rank on these like this is usually not going to be working in your best favor. It looks like this is correct. This is, I'm iffy on this right here. Let's take a look. Product description. Your A+ is iffy to me. It looks decent. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I don't know if this is really a selling feature, just from the aspect of how many people have a bunch of different cords, and a bunch of different phones. This is all right. No one's gonna. I mean, this is just good from an aspect of being able to get some SEO, some indexing down from the brand. This is this is rough. I would change something here because like this is just too much going on. I have no idea like what's going on. There's too many. Yeah, it's too white. It blends directly into the background. You should change the color so it's not blending directly in. And then on top of that, like I would never be able to read this, whether I'm on my phone or on my giant, desktop computer right now. So I would change this absolutely. Add something about the brand here. Again, add something about the brand. You're not actually telling us anything about the brand, and a brand story should be utilized to talk about the products and the brand. This, I guess, kind of does that, but it's just too much. You're not actually seeing it. You can't zoom in on this. It's not great. Yeah, overall, I mean, not bad. There's definitely some improvements you can make here. Do you have alt text? Expand your alt text. This is, you have 2-3 words. Alt text is indexable, people. If you have A+ content on Amazon and you do not have your alt text being utilized for any search terms, any keywords that you're trying to index on, go today and change that. You absolutely can index on alt text, and you should make sure that is update on all of your A+ content. Absolutely. Doing stuff like this where you only have 2 or 3 different words in your alt text is doing nothing for you from a standpoint of indexing or ranking. But overall, decent listing. All right, let's see. Martin, you skipped me 2 times. Where did I skip you, Martin? I'm not seeing on my end, at the very least, any of your questions. I do see this one. So I answered this one earlier, Martin. European self-employed. Do I need to import something? Yeah, this was the one I answered, Martin, where you do need Amazon Global Logistics. So that's why I would utilize there. Past that, you can wind back a little bit and get the full answer. But yeah, I answered this one. And then you also asked this one, super URL. Answer that one. You can't use super URL anymore, unfortunately. That's just how Amazon is. What I would focus on is more so just getting the outside traffic into a sales perspective. The sales are going to help you rank better anyways. But yeah, I didn't skip those, Martin. T-Doc, awesome. Can you review the other size in completely different category? Yeah, I'll do one of those. Let's see. B0C L5 LT. Hey, we're doing just all sorts of ASIN reviews today, huh? I'll go a little quick on this one. D-Doc, let's, oops. My alt text is not turning off for some reason. Give me 1 sec. There we go. All right. Here we go. Reviewing the other sizes. Again, a bunch of wasted space. Same exact thing. Bunch of wasted space. You're giving us some information, sort of, but I would also capitalize here. Definitely capitalize this lower part. This is better. I like this a lot more. Wasted space. You need to fill this in. I'm iffy on this. I could go either way. I would probably put text across the screen here. This is better. I like this. This shows a lot of different uses for it. It makes it so people understand how to use the product, where to use the product, etc. I like this a lot more, D-Doc. Let's see. This isn't bad. I kind of liked your other title a little bit more. Even though this one, the other one needed to add a little bit, but this isn't bad. It's currently unavailable. That's not good. Definitely want to get that back in stock if you can. Okay, same. So you're just reusing a lot of your A plus here. I like this a lot more from the 3 sizes thing. That one looks a lot better. This is also a lot better as well. I like this a lot more. You could probably add a little bit more text in here. You have some, but let's see. Alt text, good. Again, update your alt text. You're using like the same exact alt text on everything. But overall, yeah, this is all the comments I would make here, DDoc, are the exact same ones I had about the other one. Just utilize your space a little bit more. Make sure you don't have a bunch of blank space. Update your alt text. And then on top of that, just make sure you are, again, I'm not a huge fan of the lack of kind of understanding of the actual size of this in the main images. But overall, not bad. I like this. Give me one sec, guys. It is getting to be springtime here in Michigan, and that means allergies and my throat being more dry than normal. All right. Another ASIN check. Innovative House, give me 1 second. I'm going to answer a couple of questions before we do another one, but absolutely I will. Let's see. How would you recommend advertising variations for different pack sizes? So if you have different pack sizes, really what you want to focus on, one, advertising against the actual overall parentage of the product. And then secondly, you also want to make sure that when it comes to the advertising, you just can put all of those different pack sizes, one campaign. And then if you end up having 1 or 2 pack sizes that are dominating, split the rest into their own campaign. Just don't target against yourself and you should be fine. But the reality is treat them like exactly the way they are. They are a single product. They are just doing multiple pack sizes. The parent matters more than anything. I do see a lot of you guys wanting ASIN reviews in here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go through these questions and then we'll do it. How will you rank a keyword in a restricted PPC category? I have a lot of external traffic, and I think that could be a good opportunity to rank on that difficult category. Yeah, so that's a good thing, Mar. So if you are restricted from advertising in a specific category, it can make it a lot more difficult to update, and get keyword ranking. That being said, just make sure that you have all the indexing correct that you want. Absolutely, if you can drive external traffic to the listing, you should. What's that going to help you with? Well, if you get higher in the overall category ranking, guess what? That's going to help you a lot when it comes to indexing and ranking on all of the keywords that are on the actual listing. So even though we're not doing super URL stuff like Martin was wanting to do, we absolutely still are going through and ranking on the product. So drive external to your product, get sales that way. You're going to end up ranking up and be great from there. All right. Let's go back to Innovative House. If you want an ASIN review, we'll get him an ASIN review. Let me get this real quick. QKPY1HF. All right. Let's take a look here. Interesting. Heavy duty commercial mopeds. All right. We are in the correct category. Good job. Decent first main image. I understand what it is. Maybe add onto one of these, add like what it looks like a sticker wrapping around it just to give some auxiliary information. That's a pretty easy main image hack that you could do here. Make it so that it's very visible, very big text. Make it look like a sticker that wraps around. And that's going to help you essentially convert a little bit more on the actual main image. This is good. Text is too small. I can hardly read it zooming in on my giant desktop. I can't imagine what it is on mobile. Remember, 60+% of sales are on mobile on Amazon. So small text, not a big fan. Make sure you're getting your text a little bit bigger here. Let's see, washing machine. Okay, this is good. This tells me a lot. I mean, I would maybe try and add a little bit more here, but this is decent. Yeah, this is good. Try and maybe add this as almost another lifestyle image if you can. I'm not sure how you can necessarily make this informational one, but usually when you're just doing something like this would almost be better to put like right here in the secondary spot. Again, the big thing that I'm just noticing here with this one you have a lot of blank space here. Innovation, that's a really big thing. You just have a lot of blank space. Utilize this space. If there is space to utilize, make sure you're utilizing it. Don't necessarily throw a bunch of text in there or something, because again, text on pictures doesn't rank yet, but it could at some point. So definitely update that. And again, the biggest thing with your images, and I understand it's going to be primarily a B2B audience here, so they're much more focused on just understanding the basics here, but your images could be a little bit more. Maybe throw one in of, a janitor and mopping a floor. Maybe throw one in of it used. A lot of it's, you have a single lifestyle image and it's just kind of this. Just find a image of someone mopping a floor with, your product ad in there. That's the only thing. Your actual images are just very, very bland. There's no background to them. There's no nothing. The only image that has to have a white background is this one. Your main image has to have a white background, but all these ones, definitely, it's just kind of bland. This is sort of a lifestyle, but just update with some lifestyle. Make use of this giant space you have, and you should be good on the image side. Nothing pops out to me here. I would get rid of this period. There's no point for it. I'm not a huge fan of this period either, or this one. Don't use this like they would actual little periods. You can do a dash here, and that would do a lot more for you. Let's see. This is decent. I don't see any major issues here. Price-wise, $20, not bad. Yeah, you're not competing against other people B2B, which is good. You were a little bit lower. You're raising up price. I'm guessing you're maybe having stock issues. It's the only thing I could guess. Let's see. Good brand story. Good having a lot of stuff here. Good pushing other products. Love to see pushing other products. My big complaint here is going to be that, again, this is all white. I would absolutely try and do something with the background, make it something other than white if you can. But this is a really, really good use of your brand story to be pushing other products. Absolutely love this when it comes to the brand story. Let's see, decent A+, could use some updating. Again, we don't really have, okay, I guess we have one. I'd update this. I mean, it's pretty obvious it's fake, but even still, just try and update. You don't have much text that is actually searchable. What's your alt text? Decent alt text. You need to update it so that you have different alt text in different areas. Yeah, you're reusing your alt text. You need new alt text. Absolutely. Again, alt text indexes. Alt text indexes. Just remember that. But overall, decent listing. Definitely need some graphical updates and some image updates. That's going to be your biggest thing. It also looks like from the aspect of, pricing, you're in a really price competitive area. 15, for instance. Yeah, you're definitely priced in a or in a good spot, but update your images, update your alt text, and you should be good. All right, let's see. A couple of questions, and I will review your ASIN in a second here, Pro Hall. Let's see. Safi, thank you so much for taking the time to answer all my questions. Absolutely. I love doing this every single week. I will not be here for the next 2 weeks, unfortunately. I'm going on vacation. I have some other directors filling in for me, though. Your detailed responses have been clearly helpful. I really appreciate support and expertise. Absolutely. I'm happy to do this, guys. Let's see. And then we have, is there any way to check the sales/no units of a specified child on a monthly graph day by day? Thanks. So no, not specifically if it's the child. You can obviously get all of that information from Amazon's backend. You can check via your business reports, and that will give you a detailed idea of just the child and not the parentage of as the whole. But if you're looking from like a helium perspective or something like that, or Keepa, no, everything for those is going to be paired together, and you can only get that kind of information directly from Amazon, unfortunately. Let's see. Game said, can you check my past one? I don't see yours unless I already did it. Gama. That being said, I'm gonna do Pro Haul real quick, and then if somebody on our back end can find that one, if I didn't already do it, I will do that one next. That being said, just to let you guys know, we got about 10, 15 minutes here. So I'm probably going to do this one, maybe another ASIN review if another one comes through. And then we're going to wrap it up today. Let's see. Is this the right? Did I get that right? I did. Here we go. All right. Let's share here. Brazilian keratin treatment blowout complex, formaldehyde free. Okay, we got a lot right off the bat. ProHaul select one. Move your brand name to the very beginning. If you are going to put your brand name somewhere in your title, move it to the very beginning. I understand the idea that ProHaul is not necessarily the biggest push here, right? But absolutely, if you can, move it to the beginning, and then otherwise, I just won't even have it in there. I do like somewhat the fact that you have in Spanish here. I'm guessing this entire listing is Spanish. It is. Okay, so the product itself is Spanish. I'm probably so wrong now that I realize this is probably all in Brazilian, I have to imagine. If not. So now available in the US. Okay. Single application. This is good. I like this image. Gives you a lot of info. Maybe make this a little bit bigger down here, this text. But overall, this is good image. I would move this image. I would use this as your third image and move this one to be your sorry, I would move this one to be your fourth image and this one to be your third image. This is a lot of information that I love. This is great as well, ProHaul. This is also great. Yeah, no, I love this listing. This you have a lot of really, really good images. You're using a main image hack here. You're using the coconut stuff so people understand what it is. I love this so far. So far, you're doing great here, ProHaul. You got tons and tons of ratings. Love that 4.6, doing great. I would add a little bit more to your title if you can. I mean, one of the major things. But also check to see if you're ranking with this. That's the only thing in the US. You can get iffy when you're adding foreign language onto listings in the US. Let's see, past that as well. I'm not a big fan of this where you're kind of out. I also see that this is a completely separate product. I'm guessing that you're probably utilizing this from the perspective, or at least utilizing this product from the perspective for the actual ratings. Let's see, same thing. Yeah, again, I'd break this off if I can. It's just completely separate product. Your bullets are good. Not seeing anything that pops out. Typically with this kind of product, what you want to avoid is anything talking about, chemical. Oh, I do see harsh chemicals. So not naming any chemicals. So formaldehyde free is good as long as you can back up that claim. But making any form of claims is going to be a big issue here. Nothing pops out immediately, though. Good brand story. Yep. Good brand story. This is good. This is an example of a really good brand story. Good use. The only thing I would probably add is maybe a little bit more information. A lot of it's just imagery and people have to click on things. So you're not really given a ton of info here. So that's the only thing I would probably update on the brand story. But overall, really good. Great A+. I can tell you spent a lot of time on your imagery. This is great. I love this. I'd update this maybe a little bit. Just not a ton. And you got video in your A+. Questions, great. Right for me. Yeah. This is a really, 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 really good. Let's see. Did you get your alt text? Everyone with the alt text. You get everyone with the alt text always. Update your alt text, ProHaul. I found one thing. Update your alt text. Everyone always gets caught off with the alt text. So overall, great listing though, ProHaul. I like this a lot. You do have some dead space in your A+ in some areas, and then I would say that you need to add some more actual SEO type text, anything you can actually grab onto. But the fact that you have the question section and then also you have all this, I think you're good from that standpoint. Overall, definitely a good product, definitely a good listing. Not a lot I would change. Again, I would probably just focus a little bit more on changing the order. I would do some A/B testing, and I would also A/B test your title a lot more, Pro Hall, just from the aspect of I would be curious to see if you could add on to this, put your name at the very beginning, so the brand name at the very beginning, and then also see if this has any use. So that's my major things here, Pro Hall. But overall, great listing. Looks gorgeous. Update your alt text. Don't forget to update the alt text. All right, guys. We got one more ASIN, and then we are going to call it here today. But overall, good session today, guys. Lot of questions, a lot of good ASINs, and we will next week be here as well. So let me put this in, and then we will get rock and rolling. Did I enter that wrong? DZ. I'm not seeing that one pop up. It's on Amazon AE. Okay. Let's go to Amazon AE then. Give me 1 second. I'm not seeing it pop up on AE either, unfortunately, Gamia. So I don't know if I can do one of those today, but if you want to shoot a email over to podcast@myamazonguy.com and send just quick, hey, can you do an ASIN review for me on this one? More than happy to do that, Gamia. All right, let's answer a couple more questions, then we're going to hop off here, guys. Can you transfer brand registry between two of my separate seller accounts? Yeah, we absolutely can. We've transferred brand registry all the time. If you want to take one brand registry from one account and move on to another, yeah, that's something we absolutely can do. If you want to reach out to us, more than happy to do that. I am late. What should I do? I don't know what you need by this, unfortunately. So, all right, guys, we're gonna call it there. We're gonna wrap a little bit early today. Just a couple of different things to kind of talk about here as we're wrapping up. For those of you who do not know, my name is Noah. I do a weekly Friday Q&A here for my Amazon guy. So we essentially are a full service Amazon marketing agency. So what does that entail? We do everything from design. We do PPC. We manage the entire account. We will help you with all your troubleshooting, anything you can possibly imagine. You can find it all out under our services tab at myamazonguy.com. As well, we have our SOPs. If you want to learn anything about Amazon ever, we have an SOP probably for it. We also have courses as well with certificates that show you have learned the material. So check out our SOPs, check out our courses. Our courses go from anyone who has never even done Amazon all the way up to extremely advanced people. So check it out. If you're looking for a job, go to myamazonguy.com/jobs. We are hiring. We do internships paid for pretty much every single position. So if you are looking for one, definitely check it out. And then finally as well, coaching. If you want to get a ASIN review with me in a half-hour segment, all just one-on-one, and we talk about very specific things, go and book a call. You can book one with me. I'm more than happy to do these. I do, at least 10 coaching calls a week, somewhere around that range. So go check us out at myamazonguy.com. Past that as well. For those of you who aren't, go to our YouTube channel. Check out our YouTube. Just check out My Amazon Guy on YouTube. And then finally, check me out on LinkedIn. I'm posting stuff all the time. If you're not following My Amazon Guy on LinkedIn, if you're not following Stephen Pope on LinkedIn, if you're not following me on LinkedIn, you're probably missing some pretty good information. So past that, next week, we will be having 2 different people hosting the podcast. And the week after that, we will have Shane and Ben, who are also directors here at My Amazon Guy. I will be on vacation, unfortunately, so I will be missing for 2 weeks here, but I will be back after that, and we'll get back to it. So if you are a Spanish speaker, come the next 2 weeks. Ben is a Spanish speaker, and we'll be able to answer any and all questions. So that is the My Amazon Guy podcast, and I hope everyone has a great week and weekend ahead.